I'm live, but I had a silence so we won't get canceled. But we're loud now. We're live and we loud. What's cracking, y'all? Voch the Lombardi?
Just trying to find different ways to tie up my long hair. So I'm here.
Man bun Jeff, vegan Voch, all that good stuff. We here, back at it again, Scoutkast. Now, I don't think we're going to be doing Scoutkast next week because I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of moving and shaking. You know what I'm saying? So just give y'all the heads up. If I decide to change and do something on the fly, like if I got a laptop and I took it to the jungle with me, we'll see. But just plan on there not being Scoutcast. Brother Jeff, first of all, how you doing? How's life? Everything cool? Everything straight?
Oh, yeah, everything's great. Just really disappointed in that announcement about next week. I was really looking forward to it. I had a great show planned for next week. I really put a lot of work into it. So that's just tough, you know.
Jeff, we planned this show 30 seconds after we hit live. Don't lie to me and my people. Don't do it. Let's boogie though, man. I had a couple thoughts for you, brother Jeff. Some things. Let me pop out my chat so I can see my people's there. So a couple things have been happening in the draft world or whatever. And the closer we get to draft day, which is less than a month, that's when I start putting together like final rankings for real and doing M words or whatever, so I can get just a real idea of what's going on.
Voch is gonna let us do mock drafts. Voch is gonna let us do mock drafts. Let's go. I did like 8 last night.
I hate it. But
and the night before, 2 nights before that, I did like 3. Oh yeah, I'm up to 80,000 mock drafts. Check the channel, everybody.
But this is what I like about yes, go check out Jeff's channel, Jeff Kavanaugh on YouTube, because he does all the mocks. For everybody that ever asked me to do a mock and I just ignored it like I never read it, Jeff will do one for you. I won't. But so what I think is a valuable thing with mocks around this time is we have all the information. You know what I'm saying? So free agency happened. People got caught with drugs. People got caught with guns. People look bad at combine. And the real information starts to come out. So we get this final look, Jeff. Now, I want to make this kind of Cowboy-centric. But if you're not a Cowboy fan, play along, and you can figure it out for the most part. You can still apply this to your team. So I'm going to go through like 12 teams, maybe 10. I'll say 12. And not a mock draft, Jeff. But what I want to do is a mock scenario.
Oh, it's a mock draft. This is a mock draft. This is a mock draft, Voch.
See, honestly, it's like 12 mock drafts put in one in real life. What we do is I want to go down the first 12 or so picks, and I want to figure out what's real and what's not. The reason why this is a thing, because when I grind it down and I look at, this person can go there, that person can go there, I created a scenario to where Penei Sewell can be there at 10 in my mind. You know what I mean? So if I'm going through these scenarios, I go, man, look, these quarterbacks going here. If that happened, that happened. There's 4 guys that I like. And I know for sure 4 guys are going to be there when it's my turn. I think that's a valuable exercise. Do you have anything on that before we get started, sir?
Yeah, it's called mock drafts. That's why I've done 80,000 of them. Like to see all the mock drafts, all the simulators, like to let the simulators roll. Only problem here is the problem, and why what we're going to do is more important than the crap that I do all the time. Because the crap that I do all the time, the rankings of the players on the different simulators don't change. So the scenarios always play out the same, and it's stupid.
Yeah.
But in the real world, if you actually put 2 good brains together, or one, yours, and then mine, which kind of works sometimes, then we could probably make it more realistic and talk about real life scenarios.
That's fun. So before we get started with that, I think the one thing that just shifted this whole thing totally was the trade for San Francisco moving up to 3 and the whole Mac Jones thing. So people have hit me on the social media machine, Twitters and all that chat box, and say, damn, boy, if I sure is talking about Kyle Pitts a whole bunch more than he was at first. Well, because so much happened in that situation or whatever, just from Miami moving back from 3 to 6, from the Eagles leaving the top 10, then the idea that Mac Jones could be, one of those guys in the top 10 or whatever, that does a lot for this thing. Because we had the idea, okay, 4 quarterbacks are going to go, 2 offensive line, 2, tight end, 3 receivers, so we'll get stuck with a corner. Okay, so you add a quarterback to that, and you move all the pass catchers back one time. If Mac Jones goes 3, we could really get Penei Sewell, Kyle Pitts, Rashawn Slater, and Cornerback may not even be a conversation. Cornerback may not even go to 11, 12, 13 because we've been flooded with such options because Mac Jones wasn't even in the conversation at first. True or false? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, five quarterbacks changes things. Mac Jones going 3 changes things. Now, here's the only thing about that. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Traveling Man Talk Show. Mm-hmm. He's literally donating just for Voch doing a mock draft, which is great.
Oh man, shouts out to you, player. Appreciate you.
So I can draw up all sorts of different scenarios, and one of them gets Penei Sewell to 10. One of them gets Kyle Pitts to 10. All sorts of different things can happen. And the only thing I would want to add there is I don't believe Kyle Shanahan. I don't believe the 49ers for a second. I don't believe him for a second. I don't believe Chris Mortensen. I don't believe every big name dude that is getting from their sources that Mac Jones is going 3rd. I don't buy it for a second. And I will go down with this ship. If you leave Justin Fields on the board or even Trey Lance to take Mac Jones, then I don't think you're smart at football. And I think Kyle Shanahan's smart at football. I think this is all BS. I think it's all BS.
The idea of it is BS. I totally agree. Like the idea that Mac Jones would go before Fields and Lance is ridiculous. But I offer you 2 things. One is that we're hearing the insiders talk about it, right? This ain't like we're just projecting Mac Jones to be a great guy. The insiders are talking about it. 2, and this is something that's just very new. I just learned as a scout last year. Well, I've kind of knew it, but I just really cemented it last year. We can't assume that these guys got good sense. Everybody can't draft. You know what I'm saying? Just because we draft relatively well, just because the underground is a little different in their consensus than the media guys, the GMs, they suck at this. They terrible. So they may love Mac Jones more than Fields and Lance. Also, too, I just had a great point. Okay, so watch this, right? They moved up to 3. They don't have to throw smoke anymore because they in a spot now. You know what I mean? If they're sitting at 12 or whatever, and they go, hey, man, boy, we sure hope Mac Jones fall, boy. Let's say we like Justin Fields so they get more urgent about taking Fields and Lance. Let's say we like Trask and let Mac fall to us. Nah, they took their pieces and they moved up to 3. So you don't have to smoke screen when you at 3 because you know Trev and Zach going first. So why would you have to lie if you at 3, Jeff?
Well, I would say Kyle hadn't said anything.
Fair.
I will say that. It's insiders saying that sources tell them. Mm-hmm. And then the Kyle Shanahan, which I heard on I don't know where he said it, like a press conference or whatever, but I heard Rich Eisen play it on his show because I saw it on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And Kyle Shanahan was like, look, I know everybody talks about how I want a quarterback like Kirk Cousins because I tried to get Kirk Cousins, and I did, and I liked Kirk Cousins. And at the time, I wanted him to be my quarterback, and I was interested in Kirk Cousins. He was like, but that doesn't mean that's the ideal quarterback. He's like, the ideal quarterback runs a 4.4. He's good at everything. Like, you know, it's not, don't pigeonhole it into that's my guy, and therefore I want everybody that looks like him. If you get to just build your player, I want him to be good at everything. And so I don't know. I think Justin Fields and Trey Lance even fit better with Shanahan than Mac Jones does. So like Mac Jones ran more RPOs than any, and part of this might just be that I'm mad at the Justin Fields shit that is seeming to be happening. Right. Because it's like, oh, he's Dwayne Haskins. No, Ohio State quarterbacks used to get 40% of their passing yards on the actual throw and 60 in the run after catch. Dwayne Haskins gets 70%, or Justin Fields gets 70% of his through the air. It's not the same offense.
Sure.
He's a different dude doing a different thing.
Sure.
Justin Fields gets way more of his yards on throwing the ball down the field than Lawrence and Mac Jones do. Those dudes are running RPOs all day. Mm-hmm. Justin Fields is slinging that bitch down the field more accurately than both of them. So part of it's probably just my anger at the disrespect. And, but part of me is just like, I studied them. They're not taking Mac Jones. I'm going to stay until they do.
One day we're going to have a conversation ranking quarterbacks finally, and I'm going to make the point that we shouldn't like Trevor Lawrence just because everybody say that we should like Trevor Lawrence, and I'm going to make my case about why Justin Fields could be better than Trevor Lawrence. But that's another day.
He could be.
That's another day. Okay?
One day when my nuts get a little bit bigger, I'm going to tell you Justin Fields is QB1.
Mine is swole, Jeff, and I'm ready. But anyway, anyway, let's get this started. I think we're gonna do something very interesting right now. Let's just kind of book. Before I do that, shouts out to the 27th Guru, drop 5 in the super chat. Gentlemen, appreciate the content. John Lindua, drop 5 in the super chat. Also, the Traveler Man Talk Show. He dropped 5 and says this show is crack. Indeed, indubitably, sir. We had a couple more. CJ Bagby drop 5 and says it's not the mock draft, it's a simulated scenario. Ooh, hold on, son. Wait a minute. I wasn't even gonna pull this shit out. Wait. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Wait. Where's I can't find my button. This shit sucks. Okay, Jeff, cover your ears because this shit might be loud. I have it sound test. Wait a minute. Here we go. CJ Bagby, great job, sir. Simulated scenario exercise is what I like. Dylan Sarico, pardon me. He dropped a dub in mine. He dropped a dub in yours, showing support for both of you. The great show that is Scoutcast. Keep up the great content. Still hoping Scoutcast merch will be here in the near future. Me and Jeff gonna have to get lawyers for that. Isaiah G drop 5 says, can we get a war call for me joining the dark side on Pitts? Indeed. Cowboy Nation TV. That's Footsie King. Drop 5. The bros. We had a really good show last weekend. Jeff, you got some money before we get started?
One more time, Nathan Hendricks. If 4 good players are available, trade down 3 spots and get an extra second rounder. I'm captain trade down. You don't have to talk me into trading down. Trading down is my favorite thing in the world, unless I fear that I'm going to lose all the guys I want. Then I can't do it. So we got to see how it goes. Did Jeff really get his hair cut? No.
Or just
can't you see?
Or just get the best player. One more time for Isaiah Wright. Brick on my brick. All right, let's get started, Jeff. So we're at Jacksonville, right? And we shouldn't be on a lot of these too long. The conversation gets thicker the further down the board we go. Should we get any surprises that anybody but Trevor Lawrence should be going first?
Trevor.
Okay, I agree. It should be Mac, but let's go Trevor. If Trevor goes first, it should be Zach, but it's going to be Trevor. Trevor's going to go first. Zach should be second. Fine, cool. 49ers. So we just talked about the idea that Mac Jones has been talked about here, but that just doesn't make sense. The numbers of it don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm going to use, if we each get a veto, I'm using a veto here on Mac Jones, and you can pick Lance or Fields.
How about this though, brother Jeff? Let me offer you this. What if it was a smokescreen in this way, that Shanahan went to Alabama not to see Mac Jones but to see Devontae Smith?
There's no way they give up 3 first-round picks for Devontae Smith in a draft that also has Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, and Jalen Waddle, and Rashad Bateman, and Elijah Moore, and Kadarius Toney.
Teams ain't good at this, brother Jeff. I'm just trying to. Or what if they moving up for Kyle Pitts? Is Kyle Pitts worth 3 first-round picks to move up to go get?
The numbers say, like, the odds say no, but I don't care about the odds. Kyle Pitts is a freak show, but no, that's quarterback money, man. Because he gave up bricks.
Yeah,
bricks get given up for quarterbacks.
Yeah, indeed. I have this thing on my show that I always fight the idea that a player is truly generational. Like in my mind, for example, Chase Young is not generational because Myles Garrett wasn't that long ago. You know what I'm saying? Or Penei Sewell is not generational because like Worst was like last year. It's probably been a whole generation since anybody felt the way about Kyle Pitts, the way that we feel about Kyle Pitts, if we've ever felt that way about a tight end. And you're normally not supposed to draft tight end early, but you're not supposed to draft D tackle early. But if you had a chance to get Aaron Donald, shit's just different. You know what I'm saying? So yep. I don't think Kyle Pitts goes 3 to the Niners. It got to be quarterback. So let's just say Mac Jones, Fields could go there, Lance could go there. We'll have to see. We'll have to cross that road whenever we get there. This is where shit gets interesting, brother Jeff.
Okay, so we're just gonna write QB.
Sure, QB. And we ain't got to write this down. We just like talking scenarios. Scenario simulation.
I'm writing shit down because I'll forget who's gone.
Indeed. So Falcons, right? The Falcons is where this gets interesting. I don't think the Falcons should go quarterback. I think they're fine at quarterback. Now, if this is what a Cowboy fan would want, I would want them to probably get Surtain here. I would want them to get, I would like for them to get offensive line here. But they could go quarterback. They could go Pitts here. So I think they have the option to really get whoever the hell they want. What do you think about the Falcons at 4, Jeff?
Pitts or a quarterback or Penei Sewell, and I don't even know their offensive line setup right now, but I think you get the 2 guys that a lot of teams are going to think are, I'll call it fake generational, just like the top non-QBs. So I'll say it's either Pitts, Sewell, a quarterback, or that pick is for sale.
So they got Jake Matthews for big money, Caleb McGarry at right tackle, Chris Lindstrom at right guard, insert miscellaneous player at left guard, and Hennessy from Temple at center, which ain't enough. So Penei Sewell can help you.
Okay. So yeah, I could see it going any one of those. If I actually had to put somebody, I might go Pitts.
I agree. So I was on Twitter doing my own research and development. Does Hayden Hurst stop you from drafting Kyle Pitts?
No.
I agree. As a Cowboy fan, do you hope that they would think that Penei Sewell is a better player than Kyle Pitts? Absolutely, because if that's the case, Kyle Pitts can fall. But in real life, can you foresee somebody thinking that Penei Sewell is a better player than Kyle Pitts?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't foresee the Falcons looking at wide receiver right now?
You could. I mean, hadn't they kind of been wondering if they needed to get rid of Julio the last year or two?
They've been trying to move on from Julio for a long time. Absolutely. But I don't think this is the place they do it. Yeah,
they could, but I don't think I would do it in a moment where that's the thing about wide receiver that's getting real weird is wide receiver is a super premium position because they make a ton of money. So rookie deals are awesome, but unlike left tackle and unlike Kyle Pitts,
sure,
like you can find a receiver.
Yeah.
And, if you feel that Jamar Chase or whoever is so much better than the other receivers in this draft class, then you could pull the trigger. But I think the drop-off from like a Sewell Slater to a second-round tackle is just so much bigger than Kyle Pitts to the entire NFL at tight end, other than Kelsey and Kittle,
sure, that
I would go Pitts.
Now, what if the Falcons are truly bad at this and they don't draft BPA and they draft for needs? Say that they're tired of Isaiah Oliver and they want somebody to play on the other side of AJ Terrell. What if they feel like they're building their defense is the piece that they need to complement their top-tier offensive, guys, whatever, putting up points playing defense? Do you think that it's crazy that Patrick Surtain, with his pro day numbers and all the hype behind him right now, do you think that it's crazy that he could go forth? And then let's not assume that the Falcons do the right thing. Let's assume that the Falcons are terrible. Can you see Surtain going forward?
In most years, I would say I can't see Surtain going forward, but in this one, I could. Mm-hmm. Premium position. Farley had the back vasectomies. He's going to be most people, I think's top corner. So if you need a corner and he's an incredibly safe prospect in this particular draft, I could see him going 4. But in that scenario, if I were them, you know what I would do? I wouldn't pick him at 4.
Sure.
I would call Carolina and I'd be like, I know you want a quarterback. Come get him.
Indeed.
That's why I think I have to really look at the Falcons roster, but I could totally see this pick being for sale and that it's somebody else coming to pick a quarterback at 4.
Yeah, 100%. One more thing before we move on to the next team. If medicals check out, do you see Jalen Phillips anywhere in this conversation?
That's an interesting question because my initial reaction is not at 4, but then you think, well, the best edge rusher in a class? Maybe.
Sure.
I just don't feel like there's a lot of separation for me with Phillips and Ojulari. But, I mean, it's such a premier position. I think you could consider it, but I won't seriously consider putting his name there.
Like, I'm seeing people comp him, and I hate player comps, and I'm not saying that I fully agree with this, but I'm seeing people comp him to, like, the Watt brothers and the Bosa kids and things like that. I'm not on that team. I'm not on that. But we talking about a team that took A.J. Terrell at 16 in front of CeeDee Lamb. So what I'm saying is if they see him as a Watt Bosa type child, could they take him at 4? I think it's interesting. But I'm putting question marks next to Falcons because it could be anything. Let's take a look at these Cincinnati Bengals right now. Once upon a time, I was looking at the Bengals like they got to draft offensive line. Joe Burrow laid down and play ouch. You have to definitely protect your investment. What we've been hearing, because what we're hearing is very important, Jeff. What we're hearing is that they feel like they can take an offensive lineman at the top of the second. Voch don't recommend it, but they've been looking at one of the pass catchers. Do you think this is where Jamar Chase plays family reunion with Joe Burrow?
I wrote Chase down there.
Okay, I see.
I already wrote him down. Yeah, I think Chase goes 5 to Cincinnati. I think it's done.
Is that nonsense though?
No. I hate doing this because it's such a coward's way out, but Chase's pro day is going to make me flip him and Waddle and put Chase back at receiver 1.
Chase is 6 foot though. We just learned that today. So
I knew he was 6 foot.
Right.
I knew he wasn't tall. I knew he wasn't tall, but I didn't know if he could really run and it's not a 4.38. These are pro day times. It's a 4.44 or whatever, but he ran a sub 4 short shuttle. And then the thing there is where I try to talk myself back out of it is, yeah, but he also had a full year to do nothing but train for these.
Sure.
He's like, he hadn't been playing football or getting ready to play football. He's been getting ready to run a short shuttle, but I think it's close with the top receivers. So the fact that Jamar Chase is a great athlete makes me think that he may be at the end of this wide receiver 1.
Do you think somebody tapped Joe Burrow on the shoulder and asked what his preference of guys could be? Because what if the Bengals as an organization, what if they value Waddle as a better receiver, and which plenty of people do? They may value him better. Would you take Waddle at 5 if they value him better?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would, but it is one of those things where depending on how much they love, I mean, Joe Burrow's number 1 overall pick, so they love him. I would, if you're dumb enough to let me run a team or smart enough to let me run a team, I would put Burrow in the room with the scouts and watch all the receivers together and explain to them why you feel the way you do. And then be like, all right, now tell me what you think and figure it out. But if it's clear to your scouting department that Waddle is the better receiver, then you pick him.
Sure. So let's say we go quarterback. Let's say the Falcons ended up taking Surtain and Kyle Pitts is sitting here. Do you take Pitts over or if the option is Chase or Pitts if you're the Bengals, what do you do?
What's their tight end situation?
Some cat.
Yeah.
Sample.
Sample.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would go Pitts, but
yeah.
I don't know. I think they're taking Chase. That's what I think they're going to do.
That's why we do this, man. That's why this exercise is a piece of shit. So they could go offensive line, but so at this point, Penei Sewell just kind of at 6, just chilling. You know what I'm saying? At this point, Slater is there. Waddle is relatively around. We're still mocking Pitts all up and down the place, Chase all up and down the place. We got 2 quarterbacks left. You know what I'm saying? So this is interesting. Bengals could trade back if they wanted to. I think they got the option to do that as well. So we're sitting at the Dolphins. They're another wild card in this whole thing because they moved back into the top. They moved back into 6 overall for a reason. They wanted somebody bad enough to get back in there and to give up that first round pick next year. Who do you think that player is?
Maybe this is lazy, but I'm going to say Devontae Smith.
Yeah. So
I think they would have considered him at 3 maybe. And so they were like, all right, well, let's get extra picks. We don't have to pick him at 3. We can play this game a little bit. We can move around, add first round picks, give one of them back, still get our guy. I think Chris Greer is playing some pretty good checkers or chess. Well, others are playing checkers. My guess will be Devontae Smith.
Right.
Although Tua is going to have to punch him in the face because him and Waddle both said they'd take Mac over Tua. So we're going to have to fight before I throw you the ball, but we're going to fight.
Which player is better in your honest opinion, in your own opinion?
Smith or Waddle?
Yeah.
I like Waddle better. Smith is safer. I like Waddle better. Same as Surtain and Horn. Surtain is safer. I like Horn better. Waddle is not as safe because Devontae Smith is so freaking polished. Like he attacks the ball and comes back to the ball on every comeback better than anybody I've scouted. Like all the little things is Devontae Smith, but you can't teach the way Waddle moves. Can't do it.
So say the board plays out quarterback, insert player, Jamar Chase, and Pitts and Devontae Smith are on the board. Now we're projecting that Smith could go here at 6, but if Pitts is there, and I know that I'm keep asking this, but it honestly it gets different for every situation that we're in. Because when I was doing my research today, I was asking Dolphins fans, I was like, how y'all feel about Gesicki moving forward, like contract-wise? And they were saying that they like Gesicki moving forward. He may get a contract, things like that. He's a kind of guy like Pitts. He's not a blocker, but he's a receiving kind of guy. So in my mind, if Pitts is on the board, because half of this is an exercise about how we can get Pitts to 10. If Pitts is on the board, if he makes it to 6, they might like Gesicki enough to not take him and to get the receiver. Is that fair?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of teams end up doing in the draft is they go through this stuff, and then Kyle Pitts is on the board. He's their third overall player, and they're like, right, but we moved up to 6 for Smith. Like Devontae Smith's our guy. He fits what we wanted to do. We're going to do it. A lot of teams will let a better player go because they're stupid.
Yeah. Now, I'm playing a big game of scenario right now, so we are kind of back and forth in this thing. But is it practical to think that the offensive linemen are really going to drop like this?
Yes. Yes, because I think it's going to go quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to guess, I will say Atlanta flips the pick and it's quarterback.
Yeah, smart. That'd be smart.
Jamar Chase 5, Devontae Smith 6, Carolina at 7 is quarterback, and all the O-linemen are still there.
That's crazy. So let me write down Smith. So who'd you say ended up at 7 on your side?
Call it Trey Lance.
Okay, so Trey Lance here. So let's say that this could be Trey Lance or whatnot. What if the
Fields? Here, you want to just call the number 3 pick, even though I don't believe it's going to happen. You want to just call it Mack, and then 7 call it Fields.
Let's call it Mack. Yeah.
Now Lance is still there. So are the O linemen.
Sure. Okay. Cool. Lance, O lineman, Waddle is there, and let's just say for the sake of me being a fan right now, Pitts is available. So we sitting at the 7th overall pick. Let's say the Lions don't get out of there. Let's just say the Lions hang around. T.J. Hockenson he just got there.
Oh, did I have Carolina jump the line, or is Detroit? Where's Detroit? 8.
Detroit is 7. Panthers are 8.
Oh, okay. So Panthers. Hold on a second there.
Okay, go ahead.
Shit, Detroit might take a quarterback.
Okay, so I was looking at some beat writers over there, and they was like that they had to move some of Jared Goff's money around, and that'll make Jared Goff be around for the long term. Is that a reason that you wouldn't draft quarterback, or is that the reason why Jared Goff is there?
No. You see how much money Philadelphia ate to move their quarterback? How much money the Rams ate to move Goff? Like what you would have to eat in Detroit is less than those numbers. Teams will do what they got to do to be better at quarterback.
Indeed. All of their receivers are gone, so if Waddle is there, this would be a good Waddle spot, right?
Yeah, it's a good Waddle spot.
This would be a good Waddle spot. This would be a good offensive line spot. But for the sake of this argument, offensive linemen are falling. Plus, if Kyle Pitts is at 7, I don't think they go Pitts because they just drop money there. Also, let me just rewind this. Voch says this, right? We're looking at Pitts as a tight end, right? Do you think anybody's looking at Pitts as a pure receiver? Like he's not going to be handing the dirt guy at all. He's going to be tight end everywhere he goes.
My guess is no, because I think that's part of the advantage of him.
Sure.
Part of the advantage of him is I'm just going to find where you suck, and that's where you're going to have to deal with Kyle Pitts.
Sure.
And if one week that's your 5'10" outside corner, great. And the next week your linebackers don't cover well and your safety's not good, well, welcome back to inline.
That's the beauty of it, fam. Yo, chat box, this is way better than a mock draft, dog. Y'all come on.
This is a mock draft.
This is a situation simulator scenario, sir. Don't you do that.
This is a mock draft.
I think it's fair to say. So if Panthers, let's say for shits and giggles, if the Panthers are in a situation to where their quarterback board has wiped out and they weren't able to move up, that's probably where Pitts would go, right? If Pitts was there.
Pitts or Sewell.
And
again, I don't know the whole league's offensive line situation, but I mean, at this point, you're at 8, and for a lot of teams, I bet it's their number 2 and 3 player on the board, and they're at 8.
I was talking about it at 4. What do you think is the earliest we could see a defender come off the board? I think right here.
4.
Okay, 4 or 8.
You could, but I don't think it'll happen.
Sure.
Detroit. Who would it be? Parsons?
Corner. If they take Parsons, then that's right brick on my brick for us. But corner maybe. I mean,
Jamin Davis. That's what people are saying today.
We can definitely address the whole Jamin Davis nonsense. I'll write that down. I don't think it's terrible nonsense, but I do think it's nonsense considering what's going on. But we'll get there in a minute. I don't think that the Panthers would take tight end. I mean, they've been trying to find.
They're taking quarterback.
I agree. I think they're going to do whatever they can to try to get quarterback.
They're going to end up picking 4th, and they're going to pick a quarterback.
In real life, what would be really, really great for the Cowboys is if they somehow, like if Watson ended up at that team or whatever, and we wouldn't have to worry about it. Like, that'll be really cool. Well, no, because then the Texans would be drafting at 8, so never mind. We wouldn't want that.
No, what's going to happen, Voch, is Lawrence Wilson.
Sure.
3 is going to be Lance or Fields. At 4, Carolina's going to move up and pick the other one, and then Mac Jones will fall wherever Mac Jones falls.
They could take Darisaw, but I don't want to hate on nobody. So I never see people talking about Denver taking a quarterback. Drew Lock ain't that good to me. Like, am I missing something?
No, I just think that I think they're in play for sure. But if you're going to do it, I think you got to go up and do it. I don't think you can sit at 9 and be like, yeah, whichever 5th quarterback is on the board, if a 5th one even makes it to you, is going to be fine. Like, I think you got to figure out which guy you like. You got to target him, and you got to be the team that goes to 4.
Sure.
And again, that's why I think 4 quarterbacks are probably going in the first 4 picks.
Sure.
Because after 3 go, and it's down to either Lance and Fields or Mac and Lance or Mac and Fields, whatever, like teams are going to have a preference, and they're going to be watching it dry up. So if you're in New England, Denver, Carolina, and you like one of the 2 that's left, you're going. I think somebody's going to 4.
Sure. We'll see what happens. I think Denver would have to go O-line or defense or quarterback, in my opinion. I don't think they're in the wide receiver market. They draft 8 tight ends every single year. So in my mind, if they don't move up, if they just kind of hang around 9, then they may go corner here. And I mean, Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater just kind of sitting there. You know what I'm saying? So how long can you pass those dudes by? Is Noah Fant and my Missouri tight end with the long ass name that I forgot from a couple years ago. Are those
Albert O,
yes. Are those guys being on your roster enough to keep you from taking Pitts?
Probably not, but Fant is just a non-steroided version of Pitts.
I agree. So I don't think
maybe for Denver, yes. Yeah. To me, I would be like, I don't care. We're going to play them together.
Well, Jeff, you make sense, but I don't think they'll take Pitts.
So Sewell or Surtain at 9?
Sure. Sewell, Slater, or Surtain, whichever one they feel because they all there. Shit, Waddle there. Honestly, they can get whoever they want at that point. You know what I'm saying? So we get to 10, right? Dallas on the board. You could have both off. We've just created a scenario where both offensive linemen could be there, Waddle could be there, Pitts could be there, and your pick of cornerback is there. I don't think we even going to have a choice to pick corner because the offensive player that's going to be on the board is going to be way better than Surtain or Horn at that point, sir.
Like, this is not scenario talk. This is what you think is going to happen?
Sure.
Okay, because I think Sewell and Pitts will be gone.
Okay.
I don't know where for sure. I'm not sure which teams, but I think that they're going to be viewed as too good of prospects by too many teams to make it to 10. So, like, I can totally see Slater being there. Mm-hmm. I can see Waddle and or Devontae Smith making it. Mm-hmm. I can't see Pitts or Sewell.
This is my thing about Pitts.
Because Pitts does play tight end. I bet there's some teams that are just like, shut up, we're not picking a tight end in the top 10.
Yes, that's my thing, right? So I think there's a couple things at play that's working pro Pitts falling, right? Yeah. I think the fact
but
that
not Sewell. People aren't leaving the left tackle on the board.
Not Sewell, absolutely. The fact that he plays tight end, okay. And I think the only teams that are really in play for him are the Falcons and the Dolphins. The Falcons and the Panthers. I don't think the Lions, Broncos, I don't think the Dolphins or the Bengals are going to be in play for Kyle Pitts or the Niners, whatever. They taking quarterback. I don't think none of those teams in play. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that Pitts is bad, he's falling, but just like with the whole Lamb thing, like last year, some team may favor speed, so they're going to take Ruggs first when they shouldn't. Or some team is just going to like Judy more, so they'll take him. Or we're going to take defense because we feel like we can get wide receiver later. There's going to be some and plus teams suck at this, Jeff.
That's true.
I can't say that enough. Teams suck at this. There's a can exist a scenario that Kyle Pitts can goddamn fall to 10, Jeff, and I'm gonna scream and do a choreographed hump dance on my stream if it happens. It probably won't, but I'm just not gonna say that it can't.
Have I told you when we had Tommy Dimitroff on the show, the Falcons' former GM?
I probably listened to it, but we haven't talked about it.
I asked him to his face on the radio face. Mm-hmm. I said, because he got fired, but I said, hey, did you have AJ Terrell higher on your board than CeeDee Lamb? And he goes, well,
nah.
And he didn't directly say it, but he was like, we really needed to get a corner. And I was like, so you intentionally took a worse player. Got it. That's why you get fired.
So that means the Falcons can fucking take Russo. They can
Filling it, whatever they need. They're gonna fill it. Well, he's gone though. I don't know.
They can take Russo and we'll move on with our life, man. I just think it's interesting, man, because there were so many. Because I just don't want people to say what can't happen. The same thing happened last year with Lamb, bro. Like, don't say what can't happen. Now, we can say some shit that's not probable. It's not probable. Probably won't happen.
Yeah.
But it's making.
I think I would put it this way because I did learn from the Lamb thing.
Uh-huh.
Kyle Pitts. I think I won't say it's probable that he gets there, but it's damn sure not impossible.
Right.
And Penei Sewell, I think, is highly unlikely, but also not impossible.
Because we just ran through some scenarios in which he gets there. Yeah.
And maybe a team even likes Slater better than Sewell. So maybe no lineman goes, and it's not Sewell.
Yeah. I think Darrisaw is going to be in the convo somewhere. You know, teams really like the long, big lineman dude. So, I mean, Jeff, we're gonna have to see, man. I mean, it's gonna be fun whenever it happens, bro. But, fam, just give me that dude from Florida, man. Then he runs his little pro day stuff, and he's better than anybody that's ever done it in pro day history. And I'm just,
he has the biggest wingspan in wide receiver tight end history.
Eric Snyder in my chat box says Voch flopping on Pitts so bad he's mocking him to the Cowboys. I didn't think that the whole Pitts making it to Dallas thing was going to be a thing, but then trades happen. So if you tell me that Mac Jones goes up and bump everybody down and then the Eagles go away and bump everything up, hell yeah, Pitts can get there. I didn't think Pitts can make it at first. I got a scenario to where Pitts can make it. But
and I know this isn't what we're talking about.
Sure.
But I think Philadelphia could really regret the move they made.
I agree. Let me tell you why, Jeff. Can I say why?
I brought it up and
you
know,
want to say why. But I'm so because I had it written down. Let me tell you why I'm so excited about that. Because first of all, they can't draft well. And I think the only reason that they have a situation to like draft well is if a good player falls to them and they got to draft well. If you put them in the middle of a round, they'll pick Rager over Jefferson every day, Jeff. They'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
So the reason I think they may be the ones who, like, the nerds hate what the Dolphins did. Because by the odds and by the numbers, trading down is the better idea. So the nerds are mad at the Dolphins for coming back up. But me, I believe in the nerd stuff and the film scout stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're the Dolphins and you have a wide receiver that you definitely prefer or a weapon that you definitely prefer, and you know you can add a first-round pick, still get the guy you were going to pick at 3 at 6, then boom, boom, boom. Again, chess versus checkers. You played chess. Philadelphia, I believe, is playing a form of chess. Because what they are thinking is if we accept this trade and move to 12 from 6, we now have, if Wentz plays most of the games in Indianapolis, we now have 3 first-round picks. And if Jalen Hurts sucks, one of them is going to be super duper high, and we have 2 more, we can go get a quarterback. If Hurts is great, then as long as Wentz plays, sweet, we got 3 first-round picks just around a quarterback. So I get what they're thinking long-term. But short-term, if I'm Philly, what I want to pick is Pitts, Chase, Waddle, Smith.
Right.
And they might have just lost all 4 by moving from 6 to 12.
Yeah, now they got to get a second-round graded guy at 12 because that's kind of what this draft is. Like, it's those top elite offensive dudes, and then it's some guys that could go in the second round or like second-round looking talent guys. So if they pass up on Jamar Chase to get Kwity Paye at 12, they lose. That.
And the Eagles don't do this ever. But, man, it could turn into a thing where they're taking Micah Parsons at 12. They don't have good linebackers, and like, it could happen. They could have gone from 6 where they were going to take, let's say Chase is gone. They could go from Kyle Pitts / Jalen Waddle to Parsons. Okay.
I'll take that.
Can we knock out some supers?
Yeah. I got some supers off here too. Go ahead, Jeff.
Marcus, love the show, fellas. If the Cowboys draft Slater is still at 10, should they see what they can get on the trade market for Connor Williams? I don't mind having extra offensive linemen because I don't think Connor Williams has a lot of value, but I think he is an okay-ish NFL starter. So I'm keeping him around. I'm keeping them both. Let me see. That was you. Taj, draft BPA at 10, Pitts, and take Grant or Washington at 44. Give me Jamin Davis in the 3rd and Shelvin or Wilson in the 4th. You are not getting Jamin Davis in the 3rd, not after the way he tested. No, sir. But, yeah Pitts, Grant, that I'll take Washington. But you can probably take Washington at 75 because my guy's tiny and didn't test great. Sure. So to the NFL, he doesn't matter to a lot of teams. He still matters to me. And good 67. I'm in school finishing right now, working towards my degree to get into sports talk radio. Can I get some advice from you on how to progress towards this career?
Start a YouTube and just talk.
Yes.
Start a YouTube, get a microphone, and just talk, player.
Yes. I mean, and you have the advantage, too, of if you're in school, you can get credit for it. I know this became a hot topic on Twitter, and I don't want anybody to yell at me. Hopefully, it's a paid internship, but take it. If you get an opportunity to have your foot in the door at a sports radio station, put your foot in the door, work your ass off, annoy the hell out of people, and make yourself valuable. And that's how we ended up hiring a lot of people at the station, is interns that busted their ass. And when the internship was up, we're like, we can't lose him. Like, he's bringing us content. He's doing all this. But other than that, reps, like Voch could be on the radio doing my job right this second. And I don't know where you started, Voch, but he could do it right this second because he does it right this second. He does it.
And that's what I think is so interesting about this dynamic that we have on this show right now is Jeff is on that side and I'm basically on the other side of, like, I just kind of started as a YouTube dude. I didn't go to school for this. I don't have radio background. I just wanted to be a podcast. Okay, Jeff needs the shit. Okay, cool, fine. Hey, so look, fam. Look.
I didn't go to school. I didn't go to school for this. I got hired to answer phones, and then I made it happen. I got hired to pick up the phone.
This is the biggest secret that I can ever give anybody. I just never said it because nobody asked me. So, for example, right, if you have a YouTube channel and you know Voch has a show where he takes phone calls, right, call my show and say some smart shit when I got like 3,000 people watching. Right? And then they're going to hear you. And I'm be like, who are you? And they go like, I'm this and I got a YouTube channel. I'm be like, what's your channel? And they go be like, here's my channel. Branding. Benny the Butcher said last year was about branding. Now it's about expanding. You know what I'm saying? Brand and expand, my guy. You know what I'm saying? That's free. I ain't going to charge for that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Jeff.
And once you have a channel, by the way, that's all my supers. Once you have a channel, I would say this too. There's a lot of people that'll say yes to you, but you don't realize it because you're scared to ask or intimidated. I've done podcasts with people who have 60 followers on Twitter just because they asked and I had the time. Like, there's a lot of people out there that want to help other people. There's a lot of people that'll ignore you, and I may not see everybody that sends me a message, so I might miss people. But I've been on 5 or 10 very small podcasts because why the hell not? I would want somebody to jump on mine. So ask people. Like, if you have started something, anybody whose DMs are open on Twitter, send them one. Say just, hey, I'm so-and-so. I do this podcast. I would absolutely love it if you would hop on. It would be super cool. If not, no worries. Have a great day. You'll be surprised. Somebody will say yes.
Jeff way nicer than me. I need at least 100 views. I'm Hollywood. I was on this show one time. Jeff, I was on the show one time. It was on the Facebook, so they had like the little live counter on there. And I know that one view is me watching and them watching, and it had 2 views the whole time. I'm like, ain't nobody watching this but me and you. So
but they're going to use that for that's going to grow, maybe.
Shit, Jeff. Okay, well, once it grows, call me and I'll be glad to come on your show. I'll be glad to come on there, but just build.
I'm going to get something out of this.
Build some clientele. But look, it ain't even about because look, sometimes people in Cowboy Nation have a YouTube channel and they viewers will be the same viewers I got because guys in my chat watch everybody's show. I at least just want an audience. I just don't want because call me on the phone if I can just talk to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just talk in front. Come on, man. But yeah, man. Shouts out to you, Play. I hope all the best for you. One more thing I want to say before I move on to my supers. When I was working day jobs, I got a 20-cent raise one time. In YouTube, I've gotten a raise every month being my own boss. So pursue what makes you happy, my guy. It's good for your health. You know what I mean? Alchemist Drop 5 in the Super Chat says, I'm a Vikings fan, but even I want to see Pitts on the Cowboys. Hell yeah, you do. What? But I really see I really see Carolina drafting them. Carolina needs a pass catcher, but I feel you. Tanner Drop 5 says, can we package Danucci in 10? All right.
What? Where are you going to 12? He going back?
he wants to move up to 4. So nah. Let's see. The best draft duo on YouTube. Salute. That's Julian Drop 5 up in here. Robbie Drop 5. He says still pulling for Radford at 10. Okay, at 10-foot long snapper. That's him. Appreciate you, Rob. Andrew Drop 5 says, Voch, how big is the drop between Richie Grant and Ardarius? Not that far, but guys going to look at his height and they're going to make it farther than what it should be.
It's a risk thing, and you're talking to the champion of the Ardarius Washington fan club. It's a risk thing because you are talking about with Washington a guy who is missing the check mark on multiple boxes, and so teams are going to value Richie Grant a lot higher, and they might all be wrong. If you just went on the tape, I would take Washington before Grant, but teams are very risk averse. So 5'8", 178, 4'6". A lot of teams are just going to say, don't worry about it, guys. Just get him off the board. We'll let somebody else do that. And Richie Grant's going to be a hot commodity.
Dallas Lee dropped 5 in Super Chat. So does Atlanta take Pitts? Do Atlanta take Pitts with them having Hurst and Smith, the Buffalo from the tight end from Buffalo? Listen, man, like if you get Kyle Pitts, whatever tight end on your team got to sit down somewhere, bro. That's just how it goes. PL Staff, appreciate you. Drop 5 says, come on, Voch. Where is Vostradamus from last year? Call it. Who we gonna pick? I don't know. I'm gonna say Pitts, but
Sertan.
Pitts. I don't know. Brandon R. Drop 5. He says it wouldn't surprise me if Zach Taylor, McVay protege from Pitts, McVay's protege is taking Pitts at 5. Who's at 5? Bengals. I guess.
I think it's Chase.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be chasing. And please get that man offensive line. I got a lot of supers, man. I apologize for missing all these. Kurt Whistler, drop 5 says, why not draft Pitts with Gesicki and have go 12? Gesicki ran majority of routes at receiver. They fit together like lamb and tuna fish. Okay, he's saying like even if you have a good tight end, just draft Pitts anyway. I agree.
Any team that has a good tight end can pick Pitts, and you could play Pitts over that guy, or you can play him together.
But teams suck at drafting. Tonio dropped 5 and says, thank you for the work you two put in. Much appreciated. I appreciate you. And Astro Ant. Okay, now they just bringing them in because we talking. Appreciate you, though. Astro Ant says, life with Pitts would be easier if we just tanked. Damn. Wouldn't it be? If we was at 4, wouldn't taking Pitts be easier? Brandon from Vegas dropped another 5 and says, appreciate you dropping 5 from Vegas. The 27 dropped 2.5. Would you trade 10 and Gallup?
$2.5 million?
No. 2.5, like $2.50.
Oh.
Would you trade 10 and Gallup to move up for Pitts? Nah. And we can transition into this here. Let me ask you this, Jeff. Boss Man Fat ran a 4.39. I know everybody 40 times a little higher, but his
4.45.
His 4.39 is higher than everybody else's fake 40 time too. So did you take a look at Kelvin Joseph from Kentucky's Pro Day?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it was. I expected it though. Like I haven't had a ton of pro days that have surprised me. Jamin Davis did a little bit because I didn't think that he was an elite athlete. I thought he was just a good athlete. But Joseph, I mean, we watched Pitts when he beat him on that route, and then Joseph's going this way, and Pitts is going to go score, and Joseph's like, oh, got to go, and Joseph ran him down. Joseph can run. I knew that, so. Doesn't really change it for me. His only thing is going to be, do the coaching staff say, I don't want him? Because his talent goes in the top 20 probably. It's just going to be a matter of other coaching staffs that are like, we aren't dealing with Boss Man Fat.
Yeah.
Not bad. The music's not bad. I listened to about 5 songs yesterday.
I'm good. we only listen to Cash Cow over here. And somebody in my chat box, man, let me just say this one more time, man, because and people listening, right? So let me just address this while y'all listening, man. I have changed my stance on Kyle Pitts over the past few weeks. First of all, I tell Brandon from Frankly Football all the time, we got till April to figure this thing out. So if I have a stance in February and I change my mind in March, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what draft is. You know what I mean? And the late great Black Phillip says, have your opinion, don't let it have you. Now, I'd be foolish if I didn't like, and you know what? This is the problem with a lot of Cowboy fans, right? If I didn't like if I said I don't want Kyle Pitts, and Kyle Pitts is great, and now I just sit around waiting until Kyle Pitts is bad, so I can be like, look, I was right, Kyle Pitts is bad. That's bullshit behavior. But instead, I look at the growth. You know, I say, you know what? People hyping the hell out of Kyle Pitts. Let me go back and rewatch Kyle Pitts and put him in context of my team. And that's where it got different for me, Jeff, because Kyle Pitts on the Bengals ain't like Kyle Pitts in Dallas. Kyle Pitts on the Bengals is cool. Kyle Pitts in Dallas is crazy because the matchup's going to look different. So in context, you probably shouldn't take a tight end top 10, but Kyle Pitts ain't no damn tight end. Just like you shouldn't take D tackle. Aaron Donald is different. You have to adjust as things change. I change my mind all the time. Jeff, did you have something on that before?
No, I mean, the tight end thing hung me up at first, where it was just like, well, I don't really want to talk about a tight end in the top 10.
Sure.
And you just got to realize that he's different.
Yeah.
I think Kyle Pitts is going to make a team live in that world where the 49ers and Chiefs get to live, where your guy that you can line up in the middle of the field can be the most dangerous player on the field, and teams have to deal with that and what that means for the rest of your team. And again, for NFL teams, risk is a part of this. There will be teams that, because of positional value or the risk of tight ends in the top 10 or the history of tight ends in the first round or whatever, won't take Pitts. And that might be what gets him to 10 if he gets to 10. And if it does, you take his ass.
So watch this, right?
Happy.
Watch this. Here's a very nuanced football observation. Let me turn back to my notes here, right? You know what Kyle Pitts did? If you watch like Bama in passing and you watch these other games in passing, whatever, you're like, okay, cool, Kyle Pitts is good. If you go back and watch the Bama film, they made Alabama play dime. They made them play dime. They took the kid Brian.
Yeah, they had Tony and Pitts, and they were giving him hell.
Sure, and they took the kid Brian Branch from Alabama, took him off the bench, and they played dime. He's a corner, and they put him over Kyle Pitts from inline tight end. And I'm like, hey, man, Florida's going to run the ball a bunch, huh? And they ran the ball a bunch because Alabama lined up in dime. Now, Bama had the D-line to kind of beat up on that, and they kind of made them throw. But if you got one player that can change a whole formation on the other side, it's power in that. You know what I'm saying? Then you watch him beat up on Job a little bit. Job got some good reps, but he beat up on Job. Then you see he had some good reps against Surtain. Surtain got him back. But he got some good reps. Fucking J.C. Horn went to go play nickel to line up on him. It's power in that, Jeff. You know what I'm saying? That's deeper. Yeah. That's deeper than tight end. Brevin Jordan ain't doing that.
No. And I like Brevin Jordan. Brevin Jordan be a great pick at 75.
He's cool, but Brevin ain't doing that. Let's just go 2 more picks. Let me get away from my Kyle Pitts notes before I cuss this man out some more. Did you want to touch on the Eagles and the Giants, since they're sitting at 11 and 12, of what they could be doing?
Yeah, real quick. Let me just shout out Tommy Buster with 5 in the super chat. BPA should be best player asset. Yep, that's true.
Indeed.
Especially the top 10. You don't dick around in the top 10. Jet Jack, just dropping $1 for fun. I appreciate you. Sports Guru 95. If Quinn can find a Grady Jarrett and Deion Jones along with Surtain Horn, this defense could take a jump. Yeah, and it's hard. The hard part about that is once you take the corner and you want to find your Grady Jarrett and your Deion Jones, it'll be tough, but we'll find them. We can find them. Should we trade back to the first if we get Pitts? I'm down. But what I'm really down for is to let all these other teams be scared of Kelvin Joseph and just take him at 44 if you take Pitts in the first. But you may start scrambling if you're the Cowboys. If you go offense in the first round, they might start scrambling and be like, yo, we need a serious corner. Let's talk about how we're going to get back up there.
What I notice about how, like, Cowboy Nation and social media, just how it works, when I see a new opinion that I haven't seen before, I go, okay, somebody said this, and they kind of like reiterating that or whatever. And I've been seeing a lot of, yo, Voch, can we get Kelvin Joseph at 44? I've been seeing a whole bunch of it. So in my mind, I'm like, did Jeff do a mock draft? We got Kelvin Joseph at 44. Is that the case? Or did somebody come out and say Kelvin Joseph could be there at 44?
I probably took him at 44 in a mock draft. Yeah, probably did that.
Because I don't see that, Jeff. Kelvin Joseph is a first round player to me now. And I think with the gun under the seat, with the here's my mixtape with the Who Got Weed here, he could fall to 44. But I don't think he's there. I think he's a first round dude that's gonna go first round. Somebody's gonna ignore that shit and take him where he belongs.
I think it comes down to how many corners go in the first round. Like, let me pull up my corners real quick.
Go ahead, sir. I say 6.
Surtain and Horn are going.
Mm-hmm.
Newsom's going.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, Kelvin Joseph is next.
I think somebody rolls the dice on Farley as well. They should.
Okay.
But
you have a Farley dice roll. And then there's other guys that I may not have as high as others. Like Eric Stokes might go in the first round. Asante Samuel might go in the first round. I'm just trying to see how many guys could you possibly put in front of Joseph to try to drive him down. Like, could somebody take Molden ahead of Joseph? If they need a nickel guy, you could. He didn't test well, though.
Wouldn't be smart.
I think Samuel could go before Joseph. Stokes could go before Joseph. I can't get him past cornerback. What is that? 1, 2. Horn, Surtain, Newsome, Farley. If I give you Stokes and Samuel, can I get cornerback 7 to 44?
I don't like it, but it can happen. Chris Sam said he had Tyson Campbell as his two guy, as his
I don't care what Chris Sims says because I think he's doing clickbaity shit and it bugs the hell out of me.
It is bothersome, isn't it?
Mac Jones thing was clickbaity. Every position group he released, he threw one guy in that's random as hell, like Kellen Mond or whatever. Yeah. Like he'll just throw in one random one to get people to talk about his shit, and I don't appreciate it. Tyson Campbell doesn't know what the hell's happening when the ball's over his head. Yeah. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah,
like that's why Stokes is better than Campbell. They're kind of similar athletically, but Stokes knows what he's doing and Campbell doesn't. I got Campbell in like the third round, and it's literally for the size, speed, length combo.
Sure.
And what can I turn him into? Because what he is today is not even a third round player, I don't think.
Right. For the duration of the show, we're at 55 minutes, so we'll just answer questions for like 3 minutes or so. We'll just wrap this thing up, get some supers or whatever y'all want to do, and we'll just boogie like that. Go ahead, my guy.
Super Sparrows of War. You guys are really selling me on Pitts. That's what we're here to do. Okay. I'm not sold on Horn over Surtain though. Give me the solid high floor guy who isn't a PI magnet. I'm actually not mad at that opinion. Like I just disagree with it, but like I'm telling you, if they take Surtain at 10, I'll go okay. I don't have a problem with Surtain at 10. I don't have a problem with people who have him above Horn because I understand why they do. I'm betting. I'm betting on Horn.
Yeah.
I'm betting that he doesn't have to play the way he plays and he can still be a beast. I'm betting on that. Jaime says the ceiling on Surtain, Horn, and Diggs backfield. How good can we expect him to be? Diggs should be last year it was very much this. For Diggs, I will say he is average to above average starter this year. And Surtain and Horn, best case, I think, is average starter as a rookie. But hell, that's a big ass step up.
Jeff, I think Diggs is going to be a gangster next year.
You think so?
His rookie year, he had to go up against, let me pull it up because I always look right here. He had to go up against Cooper Kupp, Julio Jones, DK Metcalf, Odell Beckham, the Giants kids don't matter, Nuke Hopkins, Terry McLaurin, and the Philly kids or whatever. And the Vikings kids. That's a cold little lineup. That's a cold little lineup. And he got 6.
He fought back.
Then look, he got 6 interceptions and he dropped another 6. He could have had 12 interceptions. I think Diggs gonna be all right next year, man.
He fought, yeah. I mean, he went through some wars and he fought back and he made plays. Oh, here's our guy Haley 94. Where's the Gregory for the pizza fund and all those mocks you do? Yes, it's about mocks, Voch. That's what it's all about. And Juan wants to know if Pitts makes it to 8, should we trade number 99 if that'll get us up? I don't think that would get you up there. It might. But either way, I'm not trading up for Pitts unless you tell me who all's gone. I'm just going to let this thing happen, and I'm going to find which awesome player drops to me. Sure. Antoine, I got off late, so I missed everything. Can we get a summary on Pitts?
Rewind.
And why I shouldn't flip out when they do it. Yeah, rewind and watch all the ads or whatever.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Pitts this is a parental advisory. I think I've been cussing on this, but I don't think I've used the F word yet, but I'm about to.
Fucking right.
Sometimes you look around and people are like, man, why would you take the tight end there? And your answer is he's not a tight end. He's Kyle fucking Pitts. He's different.
Indeed.
He's different.
Indeed.
And Joseph, what would you pay for Sherman to erase the corner need before the draft? I don't know. 1 year, $7 million. People are projecting his market like $14 million a year. So the Cowboys aren't going to be in that world.
Yeah, good.
But if he's cheaper than that, I'll take Sherman on a year.
But Jeff, some people are so dug in on this anti-tight end thing. I went on the social media machine, Twitter machine. You saw, and I was like, okay, look, if you had a chance if you was at 10 and your defense was bad, Gronk and Janoris Jenkins was on the board, who do you take? You'd be surprised the people that said they'll take Janoris Jenkins. You'd be surprised.
Here's why I don't get it. This is why I don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you saw it play out 12 months ago. 12 months ago. I mean, you had technically an opening where you could plug a receiver in, but you didn't need a receiver. Mm-hmm. And did you need an edge? Hell yeah, you needed an edge. And at 17, holy cow, Kayvon Chason made it, who I had graded as a second or third rounder project. And so many people today
still
are saying should have taken Chason. And so many people today are saying you have to take defense. And I'm like, you want to take Chason over CD on purpose when you already know that one's a star and one wasn't good? Why? What are we doing?
I think it's that people thinking that we're ignoring defense for the hell of ignoring defense. Okay, Jeff, let me offer you this.
If 9 more picks, plus free agency, plus trading.
Indeed. Jeff, if it was Kyle Pitts versus Jalen Ramsey, this would be a different conversation.
I take Ramsey.
This would be a different conversation.
Especially knowing what we know about Ramsey.
Especially knowing what we know. We ain't got a Ramsey. All we have is elite offensive guys and some cool defensive people. I don't want to leave elite on the board. And I think this way about the whole draft, but especially the first round pick. It's not about what you're bad at now. It's a 5-year conversation with your first round pick. You know what I'm saying?
And depending on the position, it might be a 15-year conversation.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts could look. I said this just spitballing or whatever. I kind of mean it, but I think Kyle Pitts is going to be better than Jason Witten off the bat. You know what I mean? Like, Jason Witten is cool, but where tight end has gone.
It's a first ballot Hall of Famer, sir.
So, where tight end has evolved to and to where Kyle Pitts is at right now. Oh, shit. Just let us win one Super Bowl and let Kyle Pitts put up relative good numbers. Kyle Pitts will be better than Jason Witten.
Well, there's no doubt that he's a better prospect. You just have a little respect. You know, the last Witten should have hung him up like 4 years ago, and he wouldn't be catching all of the same disrespect. Because when you ended your career getting 6 yards a catch, we're gonna remember you poorly.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just that tight ends are in a different place now than they used to be. Let's get these last supers out the way, and we'll probably wrap this thing up, dog. Adrian dropped the deuce. He says, Cooper one side, Lamb. Cooper, Pitts, one side, Lamb, Gallup. Stopped it. Okay, I got it. Yeah. So, yeah, play matchup with your guys. Indeed, it'll be rough for him. I mean, they're going to have to put a corner on Kyle Pitts. If not, he goes off. If they do put a corner on Pitts, then Gallup is beating up on some child that shouldn't be covering him. It's lovely. Plus, there's no defensive player that's going to stop Pat Mahomes. Your best job is to try to slow down Pat and be as good as them, be as fast. Like you go into that Chiefs game trying to track meet them dudes.
You just hope their offensive line is hurt. That's how you beat the Chiefs.
And look, Jeff, I've been fighting people for the last couple because they saying. In my mind, I'm like, offense wins championships, but they say defense. I say defense has won championships. I think the way the league is going now, you got to have offense. But they always say, well, the Bucks would like a word with you. I don't think that was the Bucks played great. Don't get me wrong, but I think that was more the Chiefs' offense being terrible that day. They couldn't block and they was dropping passes. They couldn't get open. That wasn't just Bucks. That was also them. You don't just stop the Chiefs. The Cowboys, I think the Cowboys as an offense, Dak may not be better than Pat, but the Cowboys as an offense, we can match the Chiefs. And Pitts would be a good way to do it, you know what I'm saying? So,
if your offensive line holds up and those guys are healthy, then, yeah, you got a chance to match. I think my thing about the defense is defense doesn't win shit.
Right.
When defense wins is when you have a good defense and they have a bad defense and both of you have great offenses, then you're going to beat them. So do the Cowboys need to improve their defense? Yeah,
Yes.
they do.
Yes.
But what you want to do with your first pick is improve your team as much as you possibly can.
Yes.
This year and for the next 5. And Kyle Pitts does that more than Patrick Surtain does. And people are saying in the chat, and it's a good point, that like the drop off from CD to Caleb on Chason,
huge.
Like Surtain's a better prospect than Chason was, for sure. I grant you that, no problem. But when you're looking in the, like, if I had to put all of my players in order, best prospect, second, third, fourth, Kyle Pitts would probably be like third. He's the second or third best player in the draft. And for me, Surtain is going to be the 13th to 15th best player in the draft.
Yeah.
I'm not going from my third best player to my 13th best player on purpose. That's stupid. I'm not doing it.
So what it is that you have to get your defense to a baseline and make your offense as great as possible. In my mind is what. And look, y'all ain't got to agree with me. Just me, Jeff Kavanaugh, and Nick Saban agree with each other. Y'all can talk amongst yourselves. Haley 94 aware missing a Gregory. He says John Maynard Keyes says when the facts change, I change. What do you do, sir? If Pitts is there, we pick him or we play against him. That's big ass facts, dog. I can't even hold you on that.
Yeah, especially if he makes it to 10 and you don't pick him, you get him twice a year because he's going 11th or 12th.
Hell yeah. John says linebacker concept, sign right, draft Parsons at 10. I don't want to draft Parsons. Grant at 44, package LVE to nah. That's a lot. That's very maddening. Cowboys gonna hang on to their picks and they just gonna draft.
And you can't keep trying to trade players that you want to trade and assume other people are gonna want them. Like you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use this guy I don't want to go get value. Well, why do you think somebody else loves them when you want to get rid of them?
Sure. Two more. Shouts out to Spencer. He dropped 5. Says, Voch, who would you take, Jedrick Wills or Slater? Wills is a better player, but Slater whooped Chase Young. But I'm taking Wills though. But come on, son.
Will, that people miss that I think from last year. Wills and Wirfs were incredible prospects.
Yes.
Like they might be even in this class, they might be 1-2. Sewell and Slater are really, really good too. Mm-hmm. But if you're building them up to this mythical place, they're not any better than Wirfs and Wills were last year. Those were kick-ass tackle prospects.
I still have Wills and Becton over Wirfs. That's just my hard-headedness. But I like Wirfs. I just think the class was just really good last year. I mean, that's just what that is. And last one, Robbie dropped a tray. He says, so Pitts changed the entire defensive scheme. Enough said. Go watch it. They pulled some cat off the field. They put a cat on the field you never heard before, and they made him chase around Kyle Pitts, and it didn't work. And then they threw Surtain over there. Job got some. It was lovely. It was.
Who really likes Kyle Pitts and why this would apply to the Cowboys?
Who's that?
Kadarius Toney loves Kyle Pitts because Kadarius Toney was Florida's best receiver. Mm-hmm. But when J.C. Horn got off the bus, he went and covered Kyle Pitts. So Kadarius Toney never had to go up against number one corners because teams kept having to throw him at his tight end.
Indeed.
You don't think the Cowboys receivers would appreciate that, watching the best corner come off the bus and go line up over the tight end? Well, your receivers will love it.
Indeed, sir. Indeed.
Jeff, real quick, if QB is sitting there at 10, could you get 12 and 37 from the Eagles? Sure, you got to pay a cost if you want to come get a quarterback. And then it's a matter of, do you want to help the Eagles? That becomes the question.
Sure.
Antoine, I said flip out. I meant flip out in a good way. I picked just to keep him from Philly. I think that was about Pitts. Yeah, I mean, and that's not why I would do it. I'm not doing it to keep him from someone else. I'm doing it because I want him. Yeah. That's just a bonus.
Yeah,
that's a bonus. And Alejandro, how does someone stop our offense if we get Pitts? They don't. Your offensive line gets hurt. That's about it.
Yep. We would have to make the mistakes. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got on your side, Jeff?
Yeah, people are asking about the Jamin Davis thing because some dude floated a rumor today that he's in play at 10. Don't buy that crap. I mean, Jamin Davis, when I watched the Jamin Davis tape, Kentucky linebacker, I went, man, this guy's a really good athlete. Oh, wow, he plays the run nicely. Man, if he was asked to do anything in coverage, would he be any good at it? I don't know because he wasn't asked to do it a lot. So I thought I had found a really cool, like, second or third round guy. But people talking about the idea of Jamin Davis being in play at 10, I think it's insane. Now, in a iffy linebacker class, could Jamin Davis be a first-round pick? I think absolutely he could be a first-round pick, but let's not talk about him at 10.
What that means to me is that Dallas likes him, and if they ended up later in the first, he's a guy that they would look at. And even if he's in consideration at 10, because I do think that him and Xavier and a bunch of other guys are in consideration at 10. The problem is there doesn't exist a scenario to where Surtain ain't there, Horn ain't there, Sewell ain't there, Slater not there. It's just that there are going to be so many guys better than them that's going to be available. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of guys. I'm sure Jalen Phillips is in the 10 conversation. It's just 9 or so guys that we got to take over them. Gage and Daywalker Vaughn from Shreveport. He changed his name. All right, cool. Voch Lombardi. Kyle Pitts played over 70% in line while the opposing team put their best corner on. Bring them on. I got that Lamb feeling. Indeed. Appreciate you, Astro Ant. Go ahead, Jeff.
Gage hit us both. He said, can't forget about Jeff either for the culture.
For the culture.
Culture is important.
Indeed. Let's wrap this thing up, man. Jeff by Beyond.
Stop sending super chats so I can go. Gosh, for crying out loud.
Don't listen to Jeff. Okay. So listen, man. So if you want to keep up with what we're doing, like I said, we're not gonna do a Scoutcast necessarily next week because I'm gonna be doing some things, but it's gonna be real heavy pre-draft. So be sure you tune into that. So Jeff, you're probably gonna be doing like website official radio stuff or whatever. Are you gonna hop on your YouTube afterwards just to try to get your thoughts out there?
Yeah, it's probably a good idea, but I'm pretty sure all 7 rounds I'll be on 105.3 The Fan and DallasCowboys.com. So I'll be there, and then so people can listen to that while they have you pulled up, so that everybody wins. And then when I'm done broadcasting, maybe we could hop up, maybe we get together.
Absolutely. What he means is you listen to me, have them on mute, and then when they go on demand, you can go back and get their. But as long as everybody get their views.
My money doesn't change on the radio side, so be with Voch.
Jeff has flat rate regardless. I'm going to live and breathe on this thing. But we will be doing the live thing. But when Jeff gives his post-draft analysis for everybody watching on my side, go over there, check him out on YouTube, Jeff Kavanaugh, and follow him on Twitter, JC1053. Go ahead, sir.
Bunch of jerks trying to keep us here. CJ, facts on Tony, Jeff. Tony has 12 touchdowns total for his career. This year with Pitts going off, he had 10. And Tony's a beast too. I think Tony's going to go at like the end of the first round. Kadarius Toney's nice. But he appreciates Kyle Pitts, I promise.
Astro N says the Eagles messed up, shaping up like deja vu. Yeah, Eagles may possibly draft horribly again. First of all, shouts out to everybody. Shouts out to everybody here. We really do appreciate y'all like just coming in and just watching this thing like y'all do. We have a collective 1,000 people watching right now, so just they're just chanting our name. Just. We really, really do appreciate this thing. This thing was just kind of something Jeff was doing and I was doing, and on a whim, we just decided to make a sandwich and put it together, and it ended up being something successful. So we appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm Voch Lombardi, VOCHLOMBARDI. Like I said, I'm going to be doing 3 days of draft coverage, just like Jeff, but I'll be doing it on my channel. Jeff will be doing it on his networks. Then he'll come and do it on his YouTube or whatever. So y'all be sure to show him love on that. I don't do mock drafts, but Jeff does 1,000 of them. But I will be dropping my mock draft version 1 point only. I'll be dropping that soon as I get done with the moves or whatever, and I'll be doing my player rankings after that. Also hit my Patreon, patreon.com/Voch Lombardi. Some good things going on over there. Jeff, some before we go?
You have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everybody. I love you. Have a great night.
Wakanda forever and all that good shit. Let me just quote Cash Cow one more time before we leave, man. Let me just all right, that's enough.
I'm trying to hit no IHOP. That's where it's from. I get it.
Yeah, y'all hold down for the Doski Woski Peace, man. Salute.